How's it going, YouTube? Coming to today with another video, and today, guys, the brand new is going to be Cyberse Yubel. This deck is a lot of fun. I've been testing it for at least like 40 hours already. I think that it's really solid. There's a lot of upsides. There's a couple downsides. We'll talk about what they are and why. If you haven't already checked out my sponsors over on Imperium Duelist, Dragonshield, Gem, Cloud, RAW, Grimoire, or ChainLink, definitely go ahead and check them all out down below in the description. If you haven't already subbed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 22,000 subscribers. Let's hop right into the video. So Format Skipper is just so hilarious. This card can do so much in the format if it's the right time. And right now, it seems like it might just be the right time. Format Skipper can reveal the max to be a Light Fiend to then go into Requiem. When it gets linked off, you can add Exceed or Gachiri. So Gachiri actually got cut from my more refined list. This was just another extender in case you already drew the Exceed. But it's one of those things where if you draw the Exceed, you drew the Exceed, right? It's fine. We don't want to play another brick just because. But this is very, very cool. It's just another one of those normal summons that have two effects for no reason that can just get you pretty far in your combo. So the next thing is that this does get you to your engine in Yubel because you make a Beatrice, then you dump a Samsara, and then you make a Muckraker to bring back the Samsara. Samsara effect go into your Spirit get Pain, etc. I'll show you the full line here in a couple of minutes. I think that this is really good. But another thing that Beatrice can do, you might not know yet. So we just got Angel Blue Tears in Maze. So what's cool about this card is that if you inflict effect damage to your opponent while this is in your graveyard, you can banish this card for cost and set a normal trap from your deck. So you go Beatrice, dump Angel Blue Tears by detaching Fiendsmith and Graver. Then you link off the Beatrice, sending Lacrimosa to the grave. Lacrimosa effect to burn. You use the blue tiers to get to D-Barrier, E-Rad, Deck Devi, whatever you want, because this game is a lot of fun and we have a lot of very cool floodgates, right? But yeah, this is something that got really popular in the OCG, so if this is something that you want to do, definitely get on top of this. I already cut it from my list because it was just not really that great post-side. I just wanted other things. I wanted more blowout cards, more steel cards. You'll see that as we go through the refined process in the deck list. But overall, I thought this was kind of mid. It is very cool, though, that you can do this. Just overall, not something that I want to do, at least in this variant, because you really need to get to the Samsara if you don't open up any engine. You'll see how minimal the engine is, but it seems very consistent from my playtesting already. Shoutouts to Airblender. A lot of ideas coming out of him, a lot of ideas out of me, and just a lot of back and forth. Really trying to work on the deck list as much as possible. This is the not finalized deck list. The deck list isn't even going to be finalized for a while, but you'll see the more refined deck list rather. So this did play the blue tiers. This is something too where I was playing the Gachiri. This got cut. I didn't like it. We are playing the Crossout and Called By in the main deck. Again, playing Crossout when you're playing the Fiendsmith engine is already insane because it's so popular that you're going to hit something with it. I debated on playing like one talent in the main deck just so you have another Crossout target, which is very good too. Ash, Valor, Imperm, one Nib. So I'm actually going to be moving Droll from my new side deck into my main deck at a 1-of and playing a third copy of Mind Control. You'll see right here, I'm going to swap this out, put it up to 41 cards. 41 cards doesn't mess up the math. You'll see that here in a second. But this is less refined. The extra deck had a couple issues too. And then this is going over to the newer variant. Instead of Abomination, you can just play Verudurus. It doesn't really come up a ton for me because I'm only playing the one Spirit of Yubel. You can still make it, but it's just something that I haven't really had to make in a while. You get a lot of free bodies that are just kind of waiting to be used as well. That's why I have the Abomination in here. You don't have to play it though. Again, you can just play like Verudurus. I'm also playing the Close Sky, assuming that we're going to get it in info. I don't see why we wouldn't. So definitely going to be a very interesting time at Nats. Mulch Hummy pretty crazy. If you open up the Fiendsmith cards, you literally don't care about this. I've had Mulch Hummy drop to me twice in one turn, 2 times, and my opponent didn't draw a single card and I ended on a full board. So definitely a side card, but a very cool card nonetheless. Escape in the main over Abominable. I don't think Abominable is that good. I'd rather play Escape. They both play through Dark Ruler, but I think Escape plays through it better. Being able to get additional pops, a re-add, and then you're also able to reborn the Soul of Rage. Very strong nonetheless. Looking here at the more refined list though, I am on Droll. Again, I'm going to be putting one in the main deck to play 41 cards to have the additional crossout target, and then playing the third Minecon on the side. The steel cards are very strong right now, and I just wanted another hand trap in the main deck. Right now, a good mix of hand traps and board breakers is necessary. No, I do not think that board breakers or hand traps are better than each other. I think that you should always have a healthy mix because I think that it's always the best move possible. Going second, I do set out things like escape, the crossouts, maybe the call by depending on what I'm playing against, the Puri res maps, and the 4-mud skipper. So that's why my side deck is so catered at going second as well. Because you just set out so many cards, and essentially you're just playing Yubel at that point, right? When you're going second. So let's go ahead and show you the line. So all you're going to need here is going to be 4-mud skipper. So you're going to go ahead and normal summon this, use the effect, and then reveal max. This is pretty crazy as it's just like so free here. So go ahead and link this off and use the effect of 4-mud to go ahead and add your parallel exceed, to where we will then go ahead and use our Requiem and then use the parallel. If they imperm your Requiem here, it's really awkward because you have to use it if you want to get to the engine, right? And then your parallel will stay in hand. But if you already opened up a Fiendsmith Engraver, then you can just not care about the imperm. That was just a waste of a card. Go directly to your Sequentia and play as usual. So that's pretty funny too. Then you just get to your Lurie anyway. But so here we're going to go ahead and use the effect and now get to our Engraver. So then we can go ahead and link these two off into our Sequentia. Use Sequentia to go ahead and send both of these back. And then we will go into our Lacrimosa to bring back the Fiendsmith. And so here you have two options. You can either bring it back, or as Blender pointed out to me, you can add this to your hand. You can go ahead and pitch this and get to your Tractus, to then go ahead and add and send the Lurie, and then you can use the Lurie effect here to go ahead and summon itself, which will then essentially give you another body if you go ahead and use the Fiendsmith effect in the graveyard. If you were to use like Sequentia, Lurie, and Exceed here to go to Appaloosa, so you can go Appaloosa and Beatrice. The line that I'm going to be showing you today, though, we're just going to go ahead and directly summon out our Engraver. Go ahead and overlay these two, and then go into your Beatrice. Now, this is where you can send that blue tier and then link this off to go ahead and get the Lacrimosa in the graveyard to get the trap set. But we're going to go ahead here and dump the Samsara. And then this is where we will need a discard. So it's a 1.5 combo, which is definitely fine. You will want to make sure that if you are going to use this for any reason, that you want to get rid of this first. Because we want this to still be a free body in the graveyard if we need it. But we do need any kind of a discard here, so whatever it is you drew that you can get rid of, go ahead. We have 4 other cards in hand. So we'll go ahead here and use our Muckraker to bring back our Samsara and pitch this. Additionally, what's very cool is if you open up Tractus, you can add the Lurie, and then you can pitch something else if you had like another Fiendsmith in hand or something, to go ahead and get this as like a more free body if you want to use this effect to get rid of this. Because this does discard, so if you did have Lurie in hand, you could just use Lurie here by discarding it and then reborning it, which is pretty cool. Samsara effect here is going to go ahead and summon out the Spirit of Yubel from the deck. So then we'll go ahead and use the effect of Spirit to get to our Nightmare Pain. Pain here to go ahead and pop the Spirit, and we're going to add our Squirmer. Then we'll use Spirit effect here, and we're going to go and get our Yubel. Use the Squirmer here to go ahead and pop the Yubel, and then we'll get our Terror Incarnate. And so here, what I like to do, you can make a Phantom earlier, but I like to do this line first. Go ahead and make the Yama now. The Yama can go ahead and add the Sharvara. I want to leave this in the graveyard as well as much as possible. So we'll go ahead and shuffle back the other 2 and then make our Phantom. Use the Sharvara to go ahead and pop the Muckraker. Go ahead and link both of these off now to go and make your Soul of Rage. Use that Sharvara effect here to go ahead and get to Escape. And so now we have a couple interesting options, but what we're going to do is we're going to use the Squirmer here to go ahead and reborn out the Yubel. And then if you want to have both this and this on the board at the same time, in the end phase, you can go ahead and use this as an extender to go ahead and just have this tribute off in the end phase. You don't really need to, though, because what's going to happen here is when you go to the end phase, this will activate to go ahead and special summon, and then this just says during your opponent's turn, when a monster effect is activated while you control a Yubel monster. We do have Phantom, so all you have to do here is tribute off the Yubel for its own effect. So whenever your opponent does anything, you can tribute this off, which is going to be really nice because now we can go ahead and destroy the spirit, which will then get you back to your belt anyway. So if they do something else, you can go ahead and use this and then go ahead and get rid of the Yubel that way as well. So a lot of different lines here. Even if you get Dark Rulered, it's fine because you just escape, pop this and their card. And then you're able to add back, if you have like a Samsara engrave that's already there, you can add this back. You can add this back if you haven't went into the Tractus yet, which is really nice. And so then what we're going to be allowed to do here is banish our Yama in the same chain to go ahead and reborn the Soul of Rage. The other thing I get asked a lot is what happens if you get evenly matched. So what you can do is you can activate the escape, and you can blow up your own cards and chain to the evenly. And so now you can go ahead and banish your Sequentia and your Pain face down. You can definitely leave Pain face up if you're worried about like battle phase, or if you want the Samsara interruption, then you can just keep that instead. But now what we're able to do is do the same thing in the battle phase. We can go ahead and reborn this, add this back, and then Yubel here is going to summon out our Incarnate. So even through something like an evenly match, we don't really care, which is nice. And then you have extension through this on the next turn. We still have 3 other cards in our hand that we just didn't use yet. So definitely a lot of very cool plays that this allows for, even through multiple crazy interruption. I do hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you thought this was informational, or you have other tips and tricks you want to tell me about Yubel, definitely leave it all down below in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Thank you all so much.